Welcome back to Music Culture Daily. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate the support. I'm your boy Maurice.
It's your girl Maria. We back again.
Is R&B dead, or is it just evolving? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think the genre is dying, or you think it's just evolving and it's just new people in the space right now?
I think it's evolving. However, you can look at it as evolving in a good way, or you can look at it evolving in not a bad way, but just not the traditional type R&B sound. I think there's some artists that are getting back to it.
Right.
But I will say that as what people are saying now, the recipes are definitely missing nowadays. It definitely took a turn. I'm gonna say 2016 is when it started turning. You can definitely hear there was a difference. And getting into that, we can start off with talking about what's changed is there's no, like, you remember back then, like, everybody could sing. I mean, everybody that was out could sing, and everybody that was out was making themselves known. You knew when you heard Luther singing. You knew when you heard Whitney singing. You knew if it was Anita. You knew if it was Tony. You knew if it was Phyllis Hyman. I could go on and on and on. You knew who these people were just by their sound alone.
Yeah.
Now, you really can't tell. You really can't tell who's who. Some of these artists definitely sound the same. They have the same sound. It sounds like carbon copies a little bit in some areas. What do you think?
I definitely second that. What you said. A lot of the R&B of today does sound the same. Like you just mentioned, back in the days, it was you could easily identify an artist, R&B artist by the way they sound. They had that signature sound, that signature voice. Like you said, none of them really sound like each other. You can, oh yeah, that's so that's Mariah Carey. That's
Mm-hmm.
Houston. That's like you said, Tony Braxton or whoever it was. Everybody had their own sound, and like you said, in today's R&B, it seemed like all the guys kind of sound like Chris Brown. It sound like the same type of flow,
Yeah.
use
Yeah.
the same formula, like, and all the girls, to me, like all the girls try to sound like SZA. Like, I done heard, like, to me, in my personal opinion, when I hear it, it's like I hear a lot of SZA and a lot
I
of
hear a lot of Janae.
okay, you think
I hear a lot of
okay,
Janae. I hear a lot of 2013 Janae. That
okay,
that was her second EP. I hear a lot of that. I hear a lot
right.
of there's nothing wrong with, and I'm very particular about voices. There's nothing wrong with, like, that soft tone.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about, like, powerhouse voices, like young, who
Yeah.
do we have? Because I can't really say Fantasia because, like, she's I don't want to say she's
You're
an
not,
auntie now, but
you're not
she's
full.
raised a generation. She's at a certain table with some
Mm-hmm.
people. Like Lettucey.
Yeah.
I'll even say Jennifer Hudson.
Right.
That
Yep.
B. That's a table of
Yeah.
who do we have for, like our kids, and
Yeah.
who do they have that can say, like,
Right.
damn, like, they can sing, like, it's there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's a lost art. Like you said, that can really sing. Like you could just like
Like,
they
blow it
had a
down. Like, yes.
outstanding ovation. People, you know what I'm saying, just amazed by these vocals that this this R&B singer is singing. I don't think we have that, especially in the last 5 or 10 years. If you ask me,
And
I can't think of one off the bat. Maybe it is, but I can like I said, that can really like take them to church type of singing, like how we used to. It was an abundance of it,
and
you
I'm gonna
know.
keep it real, and it's because labels don't want that anymore.
I think,
If
yeah,
you
that's true.
notice, like, and this is no, like, diss to anybody that's out, but it's like, they're not checking for real deal R&B singers. A lot of these singers, like Duran Bernard, he's independent. Lucky
Right.
Day is independent. Like, these are independent, okay, they're independent artists, and that's great, but labels are not picking up these real
Yeah.
deal singers. They're not picking them up because that's not what they want.
Yeah.
They
Do you,
want that prissy, like, soft
yeah.
sound, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I
not what
agree.
we grew up on, you know?
I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. Do you think, like they say, the love is missing in R&B? Do you think
100%.
too much of
It's too much
that
toxic.
hip hop? Yeah, toxic.
Everybody wants to
Yeah,
sound like a rap song,
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I've noticed that too.
and I will say that I won't say Bryson Tiller is the blame, but you remember when Bryson Tiller first came out?
Yeah,
Remember how "Don't" was huge? Like,
yeah,
even to this day, if you hear "Don't," I hear 100 "Don'ts" in
yeah.
some of these R&B singers,
Right,
and some of
right.
these guys that are coming up. I hear his sound in some of these guys coming up.
Yeah. And like you said, and it's always been like that, especially like for the major label. If they see something that work, of course they're gonna try to go out and get another, Bryson Tiller, another Chris Brown, another. And now you got, a bunch of these artists is just carbon copy of each other with the same content, with the
Yeah.
same delivery, the same the same flow. Everything just sounds regurgitated, the same type of R&B, same type of stuff. And like they say, it's not really singing about love no more. It's all about, being toxic, doing this, doing that. It's not, or having this hip hop kind of twist to it with a hip hop feature on it,
I
with
don't
feature on
like it. I don't like it.
or
Everybody
yeah,
wants to do the Bryson sound. It worked. The Bryson sound worked for him because it's his sound.
right, right,
And, you know, and then you've got guys wanting to be on the Chris Brown wave.
yeah,
I remember he said Chris Brown is one of those rare people that grew up in a time where he got those studies from people that came before him and did the work. So he was
right,
in those rooms with those big guys to learn. Some of these
right,
artists are not learning. And so that's why it works for Chris Brown. That's why he's able to still work after 20 years because
yeah,
he has the recipes. He's got the
yeah,
books. He
yeah,
knows what to do. Yes,
yeah.
he's not he may write sometimes, he may not, but he has a point. Who's going to sing it like him? Nobody.
Yeah, Chris Brown's a generational talent. He's a
Yeah.
very, like you said, he's up there too. He's been in the game since 2004 or something like that.
Mhm.
Over 20
Yeah,
years now. So,
2005. I think I was in the 10th
yeah,
grade,
something like
2005.
that. Yeah, he's
Mhm.
been around for a while. So he's at legendary status. A
Yeah.
lot of the guys try to catch up to him or copy, emulate him. I know it might sound crazy, it might sound blasphemous, but he is this generation's Michael Jackson in a sense. You know what I'm saying? I know that's crazy. Not as, of course, not as big as Mike, none of that, but he's the closest thing we have to a male pop black heartthrob, type of singer, you know what I'm saying? He's that guy. He got the dance moves, he sell out the tours, the ladies love him, he has it all. He's a generational talent.
So it's
It's
like
not
and speaking of that, it's like, getting into the next point that there are fewer getting into the men, like there are fewer R&B superstars.
Yeah.
I-
Yeah.
We really don't have that many.
Not
Yes,
many of
Chris Brown. I think Usher got to a point where he's passed that torch on, but
yeah.
I think he's legendary.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah,
You know,
Usher, yeah.
I
Yeah,
I
Usher.
think Usher's in a whole category on his own. But like
Right.
in the '90s, it's like you had so many. You had Christopher Williams, you had Tony Terry, and these are singers,
Yeah.
by the way. Like these are men that can sing. Tevin
Yeah.
Campbell, you
Yeah.
had Dave Hollister, you had, a young Tank, you had a young Jamie Foxx in the like
Oh,
first album
hey,
Jamie Foxx. Everybody, listen, Unpredictable, yes, but first album Jamie
yeah,
Foxx, crazy. So it's like
yeah.
you had that Casey and JoJo
Oh, yeah.
outside of Jodeci, you know, I mean,
Silk.
do we have
Yes.
that anymore?
Yeah, what's his name? Jesse Powell that
Jesse
saying you
Powell, rest
yeah,
in peace to him. Like
you can
Montel Jordan, like oh man, it's just
do
like
hip. Yeah, yeah.
Drew Hill. Not it. We can get into the groups. Men of Vision, Today,
Yeah.
Blackstreet, um, Intro, H-Town. Like these are guys that could sing. Like they were
Yeah.
singers.
Dudes was and what happened to that? What happened to the since we on that topic before I forget to bring that up, nice segue. What happened to the male R&B groups of today? Where are they at? Or the female
We're
R&B
not
groups?
checking
That
for
was a
it. And I'm gonna be honest,
like
with you, it doesn't hit this. It's not hitting the same. Like there's one group I know of, Flow. They sound
I heard
great, but it's not hitting. I don't know. It's like the sound is not hitting the same.
right. So you think in today's climate it's best to be like a solo
Hmm.
R&B act
I
to be
do. I
R&B?
do.
Okay,
I
okay.
do.
That's hard. Like, where's the 112s of today? Jagged edges, the said the golden seas, boys to men. Can't forget about boys to men. Like, where's um,
and even who is that? Wanye's sons.
yeah, yeah, all of them.
You know, all of them can sing, and they were recently put on Camper's new album. They got a song on there, and it is so great. They sound
Oh,
a lot more mature now since the first time they dropped. So they can work. I think that can work.
I think
They're
so.
not trying to overpower each other. Their voices blend really well. I mean, look at their dad, it
Yeah,
comes natural. So, but I'm just not really checking for the R&B groups like I used to. It doesn't feel the same
okay.
like how it
I
was back then. Like, yes, I'm glad Jagged Edge is still touring. We still have them. That's great. You know, who doesn't love Jagged Edge?
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
and I think with 112, I think the problem with 112 is that it's not all four of them anymore.
yeah,
Like, I was gonna go to their concert, but I'm like, who are these other two? Like, who are these other two? Like, where's Q and Darren? Like, I don't want to see that. Like, I just don't, because
yeah,
it's not gonna feel the same if you don't have all of its original members.
yeah. I agree with that. Um, but like you said though, it's just R&B is in a different space. And like I said, everything evolves. I don't want to say it's dead, but will
It
we ever get back?
evolves. Yeah, it's forever evolving, and now we're evolving into an AI space. Um, which is scary. I'm gonna be honest
Yeah,
with
that
you. It's very, very scary. Again, we're losing the recipes. There is no soul. I don't care how good it sounds. I don't care
Yeah.
whose voice
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
put on
Missing
it.
it. Yeah.
You're missing this. You're
Yeah.
missing soul in it. Like, where is that? Like
Yeah.
I see people comment and they're like, "Oh, this song hits and it's fire." I'm like, "But that's not a real person." So it's like, what are you like? What are we saying?
Can't get behind no AI artists, man.
I can't do it. Like I
We gotta
can't
take
do it.
consumers. We can't allow this to take over, and that's just crazy. We know artists. That's just not even fair. That's not even right. I don't think that, but that's the
Because
way
they
they
work
going.
too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
They worked so hard to get there. There's artists now that have been out for 10 plus years who are just scratching the surface.
Right.
I gotta take it back to the Grammys. Duran Bernard's been working for 20 years and just got his first
Right.
Grammy. Like, do you see what I'm saying? AI can't do that. Like, that's
Yeah.
hard work. Victoria Monet has been in the game for 10 plus years. She's just
Hmm.
now scratching, like, people are just now, even though I've been on her since day one, but some
Yeah.
people
Yeah. Yeah.
haven't. And
Yeah.
so, you know, like, Destin Conrad, he's been out for a minute. He's just now getting the recognition he deserves. So it's like, I can't get with the AI situation. It's just not, it's not cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like I said though, but yeah, it's just crazy. Like I said, R&B. Of course, like I said, everything evolves. Everything got to move forward. Would it ever go back to its glory years of
No,
its 70s, the
no,
80s, the 90s,
no.
the,
They're
the
trying.
2000s?
It's
Yeah,
they're trying, but it's like, you know, the authenticity is missing in some areas.
yeah,
And I think what else is missing is there's not a fine line from R&B and hip hop. Like, because back then it was like you had R&B over here, you had hip hop over here. But when they came together to do
yeah,
like these R&B and hip hop songs, amazing. But
yeah,
now
yeah.
it's like where's the line?
Yeah.
Everybody's crossing over and going here and going there. You got
It's no
rappers
rule.
that do
Yeah,
R&B music.
yeah. No
Sound
rules no more.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
no rules. And then what's crazy is like I was looking on Instagram and a lot of like those pops like remember back then like the MTV days like when we used to get ready for school, those pop
yeah,
songs would come on and you know we don't have we like pop songs, everybody now, even some of these white artists are now trying to do R&B music. No. Like, we want, like, where's our Avril Lavigne? Where's our Panic at the Disco? Like, where are these artists? Everybody wants to do R&B music. And, you know, yeah, again, like you said, there's no rules.
yeah. There's no rules to it. R&B. They had sub genres. They had the New Jack Swing. That was kind of like, you know, the groups like Guy and all
You
those
knew
kind of
who
groups.
was who. Yeah, you had Guy, you know,
Yeah.
you had that whole Uptown Records.
Will DeVoe, you had
Yeah.
New yeah, the whole Uptown, that whole sound. You like, of course. And then you had the Jodeci's and all them come in. And they kind of ushered in like the remix, with, Puff, and I don't want to bring his name up, but he did what he did. He got to get miscredit. With what he did with Mary J and Jodeci bringing in that rough, rugged R&B, hip hop, dressing them in baggy clothes, and Timberlands, and stuff like that. We didn't see, you haven't seen that like
Mhm.
that before. Or R&B group, a lot of R&B groups was for your grandma and your mama, and them they could listen to it. But Jodeci and them was more raunchy, more street, more had some cursing and
Yeah.
stuff like. It was love songs, but more raunchy, type love song, and
Yeah.
and loved it. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of that paved the way, for the other artists to come in and all that kind of stuff. So, um, and like I said, just not the same no more. It's just not the same in my opinion. And there's still some great R&B acts out,
Oh,
like
there's
Leon.
great stuff out.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong, like,
yeah,
it's
great stuff
that
out. Yeah,
Victoria Monet just dropped a song today, and it's a full speak. And we're gonna get it before we end it. We gotta get. I want to get into the short attention span that this generation has. Like Victoria Monet just dropped a new song today called Let Me. It is a full R&B song. It has a verse, it has a bridge, it has a hook, it's got ad libs, it has a vamp, it has a fade out. Like, why are these artists missing that? Why are these songs only like 2 minutes? Like,
that's
we could listen to a song for 6 minutes.
yeah.
We what are we missing here? Like, is the attention span just shorter? Is it just, you know, is
I
everything so quick and they're just pumping out?
Yeah, we're in the microwave era. We're in the
Yeah.
microwave era. Everything. That's everything we consume now with the streaming service, Netflix, and all that kind of stuff. We getting it right at our fingertips. Music is right at our fingertips. So, if you order something online, it's hell. It could be to you in a 2 hours if you ordering through Amazon. Depends on what you order. So everything and our, what's now coming up, especially with the younger people, is everything is right now. So yeah, the attention spans are shorter now for sure.
I
Like
miss the CD era. Like,
people don't want.
get a
Yeah,
CD
exactly. Yeah,
and
exactly.
you read, like, I used to love opening it, reading who
What?
wrote what.
Yeah.
Like, that's where my nerdness really, really started, like, reading who wrote it, who's on background, who engineered it, who I didn't know about mixing and engineering until later on as I got older, but seeing who did it and then seeing, like, when you see, like, your favorite artist, like, oh, they helped them out on this album,
Oh,
and that's another thing that's missing too. So,
mhm. Yeah, yeah. Like you said, is lost that touch,
yeah.
the physical product, the physical CD. When, like you said, when you had to go support this art, you had to get all, you had to put clothes on and go to the record store and
I
buy.
mean, we just seen it this past
Yeah,
weekend with J. Cole.
oh, yeah,
He came here to
exactly.
Greensboro and he went down to Charlotte and in that Civic put
Yeah,
pumping
he's
out
everywhere.
like pumping CDs.
Yeah, Pumpkin C, the old school way. I think today he was at Howard up there in DC. So he
Okay.
been yesterday he was down in Atlanta. So he been, he's going all over like he's a starving artist. But back in the day, and it was funny. I'm glad that we're on this topic. It was like a Gen Z, I guess college student. They gave him the CD, but he didn't know how to open the CD. It had the shrimp. Yeah, one of the dudes had to show him like, yo, you go from
Oh,
the
bless
corner.
his heart.
He didn't even know how to open the CD. And they had it was up on IG somewhere. The dude didn't even know how to. He was looking like, how do you open this? Yeah, so,
Raising the children.
but they never have to touch CDs now.
Yeah.
They got they pull up an album on this like so. Yeah, so that is crazy, to think about. Like he never
I used to
even.
love having my little CD book going to school and got my little CD player. Man, what? That's like
That's the
that's you know what that is? That's soul food to us.
Mhm.
That's that's
Facts.
that's Big Mama's mac and cheese, fried chicken, and collard greens with the turkey neck. Like that's us,
Right.
and that's we're missing that. Um, Teach the children, because if you
Yeah.
don't know how to open a CD, there's something's lacking.
You like, how do I open this? Like, yo,
I
yeah.
remember a while back, like some years, my nephew was like, "What's a CD?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, son!"
Yeah. Yeah. No little CD changer and thing, like little
Yeah. My
box.
record player has a little CD changer on it, and that's exciting, you
Yeah, they don't know
know.
nothing about that. They don't know nothing about that, man. take them back to the cassette tape, the CD. They don't know nothing
They
about
don't
that. But
know.
that was a good old day. That's how you consume music back in the day, and that's what music is missing. But R&B, I think R&B. I think, like I said, some R&B is just tricky sometimes because SZA and Summer Walker sound alike to me. They sound alike. You know what I'm
You think
saying?
so?
So I can't tell the difference sometimes. And I love SZA. I'm not really a big Summer Walker fan. I love SZA, but I think Summer Walker be trying to sound like her, or maybe it's my ear. I think they sound a lot alike. And there's another girl as well. She sound like SZA and stuff like. It seems like since that 2016, 2017 era, and that worked. Like they looking for the next SZA. That's what
When I
I
uh, when I hear Summer, like vocal wise, I hear a 90s sound. She
think.
has
Okay.
a 90s tone. You can tell she's a student of the 90s. She has it's a tone that she has,
Okay.
and certain um arrangements that she does, it's definitely not 90-ish. Um
Okay.
Maybe my ear is just different because
Yeah. And,
I
yeah.
sing, so it's like my ear is different, but that's
Right.
what I hear.
Right.
I don't think they sound the same. I think that like I said, I think there's a lot of Janaes. I think there's a lot of Mariahs that try to be, because I can't. I remember when I first heard Ariana Grande, I was like, is that Mariah? Like when I first heard her, I didn't know she put out some new music, you know. But then she
Yeah.
started finding her sound. She started
Yeah.
finding her own sound. But I all in all, I think it's evolving either way. It's either evolving in a good way,
How would you find it?
however you view it.
Okay.
However you view it. If you feel like it's going in a good way, great. Certain stuff is like, all right, cool. I'm tired of the so it's too explicit.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
We're missing the metaphors. I think that's a big word for a lot of
Uh-huh.
them because they, you know, like I remember As Yet had this song in the 90s called Last Night, and
Yeah.
I didn't know what they were talking about. All I heard was sun and moon and oceans, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's up. And then I got older, and I was like, oh, that's what they were talking about. But I
Yeah.
was older, so
Right.
I think the it's too much sex.
I think so too. Not enough love.
Not enough love. Yeah, there's too much sex.
Lust. Too much
Yeah,
lust.
there's too much lusting. Yeah.
Yeah. Not enough love and stuff like that made R&B what it is. But like I said, I don't think it's a dying art form or a
It'll never
dying.
die. No,
Yeah,
R&B will never die.
it'll be here. I think of course. Is neo soul still a thing, like a category, or they just got rid of that? I don't hear nobody say that no more. I know Jill Scott dropping this
Nobody's
Friday.
really doing it. Oh,
Yeah,
yes, Jill Scott is dropping on Friday. Yes, I'm so excited.
yeah.
So
Yeah, first
excited.
Friday
Yes,
album in about
indeed.
13 years or something. So
It's
yeah,
been a
Jill
minute.
Scott.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a while since she last put out a project. Um, Brent Faiyaz supposed to be dropping an album. Who did he say it was produced by?
Raphael
Yeah.
Sadiq.
Oh yeah, Raphael Sadiq. Yeah, yeah. So I'm looking forward to
I'm
that.
looking forward to it.
So
I have joined the Brent wave
yeah, I
after
forgot that.
they have
Man,
I'm converted over.
yeah, I like Brent Faiyaz. He's in that raunchy, toxic lane. Some of his material. You know.
Yeah, I want I would love for, like, let me not say for it to come back because it's out there. It's just not being promoted as heavy. Like there's
Mhm.
so many albums that are great soulful R&B albums, but they're not being promoted as
Yeah,
heavy.
that's true. That's
Um
true.
like we talked about in the last episode with Lettucey, I didn't even know she put an album out. I really did not know. And I listened to it, and it's actually good. I didn't expect anything less. I mean, she's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I honestly think that I think we're missing some recipes, and I think they need to get back to the core. Um, take take sex out, you know, bring back love making, bring back, you know, loving on your person and being okay. It is okay to love a woman and to like a woman.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. Now it's not okay to say that.
I don't
And
know
I know
where this snipping situation, I don't know what that's about, but we're
it's
missing.
more to dull the woman now in R&B than to appreciate and to love the woman. That it seemed like that's where the content kind of went. Or to say, this and that, but
I
yeah,
think it's
it's
gonna
okay.
come back. Like, I mean, Jamie Foxx is dropping a song, I think this week,
Okay.
called Somebody. I'm excited to listen to it. Tank is dropping an album this year.
Okay.
That's R&B all day long.
Oh,
Um, I would love for Jagged Edge to drop an album, like a real deal R&B album, not trying to sound like everybody else.
yeah.
Getting back to their authentic sound. They're teachers.
Yeah.
They have students. Like when you're a teacher, you don't have to sound like everybody else. You know,
I
you're a
suppose.
you're a blueprint, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah. I
there's a
agree with
lot
that.
missing. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot missing.
There's a lot missing, but I think is it like I said, evolution is part of the human existence. Everything evolves, you know, whether it's sports, music, any form of entertainment, it will evolve and people will, like you said, whether it's evolving for the better of the art form, I think that's to be seen. But I think I think a lot of people probably haven't been really happy with the R&B lane in the last 10 years. Has it been good? Some good highlights, but the purists, the people that came up during those times and stuff like that, and knew what R&B sound like I said, with the love and the real singers, that people that bought the house down, standing ovation type singers, don't have that no more. So I think a lot of people probably just turning away from this new age style R&B. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I don't think, I think it's in good hands. I think it's in good hands for what like I
For
said, it's
what
just
it
involved
is, because we
what it
don't.
is.
Again, we don't have, and I bring these people up because they're pillars. They're here. We don't have a Whitney. We don't
Ah,
have a Luther.
no.
And I know what you say about Chris Brown, and it's like, listen, love him down.
Yeah.
But we do not have a Michael. We just don't.
Nah,
And I don't think we're
nah,
ever going to.
nah.
I don't
Never
think
gonna reach
we're
that
ever
level.
going to get that.
Yeah.
Is we don't have a Teddy P. You
Nah.
know, who's singing like Teddy P besides Tyrese, and you know how that go. You know, like
He's another great.
who's a Phyllis Hyman? You know,
Yeah.
who's singing like Rochelle Farrell? Like who's really, 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 really doing it? And it's like, I don't know. I don't know.
Don't hopefully we can. There's a lot of talent out there, and like you said, you need to get rid of usher in some new talent. It's a lot of underground, unheard vocalists, people that could
But it's
really
like, you
sing.
see how we can name those people, and you hear their sound, like, off the rip. Evelyn Champagne King, her sound. Melba Moore, her sound. Who's singing? Lisa Fisher, like, who, their voices, and it's like, we don't have that anymore.
Not to that
Not
degree.
to
Not
that level, Of singing, no, we
Yeah.
don't have that. We don't have a Marvin Gaye. We don't
Nah.
have, and I know she's still around, but it's like we don't have a Diana.
Yeah, Patti LaBelle.
We don't have it. No, we don't have it. Gladys Knight, we don't have those people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Some of
yeah,
these artists unfortunately, like they're gonna be unknown at some point.
yeah. Here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah,
You think they gonna stand the test of time? Some of these
some of them.
20, yeah, like the Chris Browns of the world. I think Leon Thomas has
I
got some
think
staying
Leon's
power.
gonna stick around. I can see Leon. He's too
Well,
talented.
yeah, I think so. I think he's one of those ones. I think he's
He's
one
gonna
of
make
those
a
ones.
name. I can see him. You know where I can see? I can see him in a Stevie lane.
Yeah, that's a good lane.
I see him in a Stevie lane because he he's a that's musician in
Yeah,
him. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a musician.
right,
So when you're a musician, you just want to make music,
right.
you know, and you want to be around for as long as you can to make music.
Facts.
Um, but
Yes.
a lot of these artists are gonna, they're gonna come and go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel our lasting staying power.
Yeah,
Is there any classics that's been dropped? Like this classic song. I haven't heard, one of those songs or one of those albums that's still like a Confessions from Usher, or one of those landmark albums that dropped and people still talk. Has that
I
been
think
one?
SOS is gonna be one of those,
Thanks. Okay,
and I think
okay,
Control is gonna be one of those.
okay. That. Those are good ones, and I can't argue with that. I love Scissors, so
Yeah,
I'm a second. Okay, that's
I
what's up.
I think, and I know that's only one person, but I think she's definitely, and I think Leon Thomas too. I think Mutt
Yeah,
is going to be an album that's talked about.
I agree with that. But like I said, hopefully, they got a lot of artists that comes out every week. Hopefully we got one that's coming out. It's gonna be great. I already know the Jill Scott project gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Badu, she's dropping hopefully this year with her and the Alchemist. I don't know how that would sound, but it's Erica Badu, so I
No,
feel that's gonna
and I think all in all, the message is, you know, with with this episode is don't lose the recipes because that's all we have. You
right, right.
know, we don't want the others, and this is where too much of getting invited to the cookout comes in, and you know,
Hmm.
we're sharing too much. There's
Yeah,
some things that we need to keep to ourselves, and
yeah, got to keep something.
we got to keep something. And I think R&B is is something that's for us,
I agree.
you know.
I agree with that. I like that. I like that. Okay, well, I guess that pretty much great conversation.
Yeah, that was great.
And love the conversation. Is a great conversation to be had. There's no right or wrong. Like you said, we just posed the question, put it out there. Is R&B dead, or is it just simply evolving like everything else in life? That's just part of life. So but yeah, but I think R&B is here to stay. I think it's in a good place. Could be better. Yeah, of course, I think should pay more, give the OGs more shine and more respect. They should do like what Nas did, drop. Somebody should do that, like how Nas did last year with all the older hip hop artists. He put out like 7 albums somebody should do that for some of the older guys and stuff like that and give them that spotlight, give
Yeah.
them that social media, like Joe and people like that. Some of these new generation people, they probably heard of some of the old material, but give them a new album. Somebody should do that on the R&B side.
I can
So
see Rico
yeah,
Love doing it.
that'd be dope.
I would love
Yeah,
to see him bring those guys in, like you said, Joe, Dave
yeah,
Hollister, Kenny Lattimore, like these, again, singers,
yeah, legends, legends.
you know? Eric
Straight up,
Benet. Bring these dudes in,
yeah, dope.
show them
That'd be
like,
dope.
hey, this right here, you know, this is your lesson. Like, take this is the recipe.
That'd be dope. Yeah, somebody need to do that with the R&B legends and stuff like that. You know, like they said, they got the adult contemporary R&B, and and some a lot of these guys and people still dropping music. You know, they don't have the marketing dollars behind it that you hear it like you're gonna hear Chris Brown. You know, they spend a lot of money to put Chris Brown in front of you, to put SZA in front of you and stuff like that. They're not in front of you by accident, of course. You know what I'm saying? There's a
That
lot of
could
people
and like
that you never
that
hear
yeah,
money.
and that Chris Brown album, like that first album, that that's a whole episode in itself because the way
Yeah,
that a lot like, if you ever look at the credits, he had they took a chance on a kid that nobody ever heard of, and these are guys that have been doing music for years, and they took a chance doing an album for this kid that nobody's ever heard of him,
dang.
and he came out the gate swinging with Run It.
Yeah,
And you had Joel Santana, who was really, really big at the time. Um, yeah, that's a whole episode in itself. That whole album alone, the way that they took a gamble, and they took a great gamble on the kid.
yeah, it paid off. Paid
You
off.
know?
You haven't looked back, you know, because that's risky. That easy could have been a one hit wonder. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Easily, because we seen that too many times. Or if not one hit wonder, he definitely wouldn't be who he is now. You know, probably would have made another song or been gone. But that gamble paid off. Man, he deserved it. Chris Brown's one of those generational talents. Yo, he's good. He's good at what he do.
I think
You
Trey
know, so
Songz could have too,
I forgot
because
about him. Yeah,
Trey Songz is a great R&B artist,
he's not a
but
good singer, in my
he's
opinion,
not a
though.
good singer. But he makes great
I know.
songs. He does
Yeah,
make
yeah,
great songs.
yeah. He
I just
made
wish
great.
he would
Yeah,
stop. Let me not
yeah,
say I wish he would stop trying to be a thug. Like, stop trying to,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not you, you
yeah.
know, because you're great. You're great as an R&B artist. You're not the best singer, but you make some dope songs and you make
Yeah,
some standing albums. He makes
right.
solid albums.
Yeah,
And, you know, how can these new artists look up to him and he out here acting like this, you know?
yeah, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, that is. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. But yeah, but okay then. All right. Greatly. That pretty much wrap up today's episode.
Yes.
Greatly, amazing episode, amazing talk. And everything like that. Still with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know in the comment section, is R&B dead in your opinion, or is it just evolving? And greatly appreciate tuning in. And we will, any last thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, just be on the lookout. I am starting my own channel.
Okay.
So, just be on the lookout for that. It'll be basically a continuation of this. And, of course, Maurice will come in sometimes. You have to,
Yeah,
you have
of
to.
course.
But
Of
yeah, be on
course.
the lookout for that. And I'll put up more info on that when that comes up.
Sure, for sure, for sure. All right, greatly appreciate it. Keep rocking it out, keep doing your thing, keep, making it happen. Lovely, talented, amazing. You definitely got whatever, what it takes to make it happen.
I
You know,
appreciate you.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, but I guess we'll wrap up the episode. Appreciate it. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.